Hello everyone, welcome to the live press conference reaction as Erik Ten Hag gives us updates on injuries, reaction to Jadon Sancho's performance last night. Let me just go back a little bit. Injuries, quite a lot of them, and quite a lot to get into in that regard. He talks about Jason Wilcox, he talks about the transfer window, and many other things as well. Quite a detailed press conference. Sometimes you get these ones that are like, I don't know, 4 minutes long. There's two really mundane questions in there, and you don't really get much out of it. But this one is quite a few bits out of it, especially when you're looking forward to this game on Monday as well. So as always, get involved in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts if you have seen any of the quotes. If not, don't worry, I'm going to read a load of them out now, and then we'll get into it. So basically, I mentioned earlier on when I did the show at 12 o'clock that Anthony Martial and Johnny Evans were back in training. What kind of capacity they can fit in. I don't know if, Evans is fit for a full game or Martial is, I highly doubt he's going to be fit for a full game, but they can be a selection, right? So that's where we're at with them too. Bruno Fernandes is a doubt. Bruno Fernandes is a doubt for Monday, so he might not play, which is very interesting. And I've put a poll up on the YouTube. Who should start in the 10 if Bruno isn't available? Should it be Mason Mount? Should it be Christian Eriksen? Or should we maybe even try Amad Diallo there as well? Let me know your thoughts. But knowing Bruno, knowing what he's like, he's been a doubt for a couple of games. He'll probably tape up his whatever it is. I don't know what issue it is, to be fair. I don't know if it's his hand again or his knee, or it could be anything with him at the minute. He's probably completely broken from this season. So we'll just have to see how that develops and if he's going to be available for Monday night, because there's still quite a few days off yet. We're only on Thursday, so you've still got another 3 days. But he is a doubt, that's first and foremost. Marcus Rashford is still not recovered from his injury, so he's not going to be available for selection, which some people wouldn't mind, to be fair. They want to see Garnacho on the left and maybe someone else on the right get an opportunity, but it would probably be Anthony again, although he is in good form. Scott McTominay didn't train so far this week. This is directly from the manager's mouth. Scott McTominay didn't train so far this week, but I expect him back in training on Saturday, and we have to see if he's 100% available or for a part of the game. This is on Bruno. After the game versus Burnley, we had an issue with Bruno. He is a doubt for Monday. We all know Bruno. Never rule him out for any game. He will do his best to be available. So, look, it's nothing new when we're mentioning injuries and people not being available. We've just, as United fans, right, we've kind of just become accustomed to it. It is what it is, isn't it? Like, we move. We've got 5-6 games left and we've got a final included as well. So, I expect whenever Ten Hag does a press conference for him to announce that someone's not available or someone's not fit. But yeah, Bruno's going to be a big miss, especially with the form that he's in at the moment. Like I said before, I did a show earlier on mentioning that he wasn't nominated for the Player of the Month. So obviously he's been in really rich vein of form. Scored against Chelsea, scored against Liverpool, got a couple of goals and assists against Sheffield. And created a shitload of chances. So he's going to be a big miss in the team, especially against someone like a Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace is an interesting one. I don't think got asked many questions about them, but I will dive into it a little bit in terms of what I'm going to expect from them and how can we set up and what are they going to do to hurt us as well. So I'll get into that. I'll also get into Elise as well, who's obviously a player who's been linked with United heavily. He's got a release clause. He's someone who's there or thereabouts. So obviously the transfer window was a topic of the press conference. He got asked a question about this. Basically got asked about the possibility of United selling most of their squad this summer. And he said, it's a joke. Every window, it said 200 players getting interest from Man United. It is untrue. Every summer, it is said we sell all the players in summer in our squad, which is untrue. I'm now going into my 5th window. 2 windows quite okay. 2 we missed. We have to make new improvements to the squad, but there is a base of the squad that is very good, apparently, which I thought was interesting. He thinks the base of the squad. So what is the base of the squad in his opinion? Onana, Lissandro, Shaw, Kobe, Bruno, Rasmus. Like what is the base of this squad? What's he referring to there? It's mad that it's his 5th window as well, isn't it? My 5th window, 2 windows quite okay, 2 we missed. So yeah, obviously we haven't really done business in the summer. We've brought in Weghorst and Sabitzer, and then the last January window we literally couldn't do anything because of FFP, and no clubs really did anything, did they? So what I thought, I don't know the journalist who it was who actually asked it, but he cooked him, didn't he, saying like it's a joke. you lot write this kind of crap and it's untrue every single summer. So, but we know that anyway with journalists, 90% of the stuff that they put out there is absolute nonsense. So, but they do it for clicks, they do it for comments and interaction and engagement and, yeah, all that kind of stuff. It's just the way the football world works, unfortunately. Now, someone who's going to have a massive say on transfers and recruitment and all that kind of stuff is Jason Wilcox. And Ten Hag got asked about him. He said, we talk every day from last week. In a very short period, we have to build an intense relationship. We are working now to a plan. We had a plan already before he stepped in. And of course, we have to get aligned. It takes time, but we don't have so much time, which is interesting. Everything you're hearing at the moment, and again, another one where I reference this in the 12 o'clock show, everything we're hearing, it seems like they are preparing the summer with Erik ten Hag. From what you hear, he's having talks with Jason Wilcox. From what you hear about coming out from the Athletic, who have obviously very good sources within Ineos, talking about preparing for the summer and giving him 6 months. It seems like he is. Now, this could very quickly turn on its head. He could win the FA Cup. I don't think he will, but let's say he wins the FA Cup and they could get rid of him. So you genuinely never know, but it seems like he is. He got asked about Jadon Sancho, which was to be expected. I thought that was going to be one of the first questions, to be fair, about his performance for Dortmund last night. He said yesterday he played very good. He's a very good player, showed why Manchester United bought him and represents a high value. I'm happy for Jadon for his performance yesterday, and we'll see what is going to happen in the future. Whether he'll be successful or not, whether we'll sell him, he's not saying this, by the way, this is me. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but either way, in a positive light, if he's performing well, the chances are someone's going to buy him. Dortmund are going to pay up. How much we get for him, again, not entirely sure. Couldn't say. Don't know. It'd be nice to get 50 back for him, considering we paid 70. But Dortmund are probably pushing around a figure of 30 to 40 maximum. And then you have all the wages included with that and everything else. And what Jadon wants to actually do, is he going to be stubborn going back to United if Erik ten Hag's still here? Can they kind of rekindle any form of relationship? I don't know. It's an interesting one. Please do let me know what you think in the comment section and leave a like on the video for us as well if you can. And subscribe to the channel if you're feeling extra nice. He got asked about the league finish and the end of the season and finishing in the top 6 or 7 and how important this is. He said, of course it's important, but we have 2 opportunities, one in the league and one in the FA Cup final. On being in the Europa League, said, is it important? He said, definitely, it'll have an impact on the budget, but I'm sure Manchester United is a very attractive team and a club to play for. Many players will be very happy to play for Man United, I'm sure. I wouldn't, count your chickens with that one, to be honest with you. I know United's a big pull, but look at what other clubs do. Villa should be a big pull now. Villa are a big club. They're probably going to get top 4. They're going to have Champions League football under a great coach, under a great structure there as well. I think what Poch is doing at Chelsea is interesting. They're not going to be in Europe, but I'm sure they could still attract players. Well, you look at the players that they've got, I'm sure they can. Arsenal obviously are going to look to build on their squad, Man City as well. So it's not going to be that easy. If you're fighting for a player, let's think of clubs that are going for similar players, right? So an Ivan Toney, for example, or let's say like a player like we mentioned before in a Michael Elise, anyone like that, other clubs are going to be competing for him. You can't just turn around and say, well, we're Man United. And he's going to go, well, they're in the Champions League. I want Champions League football. I want to win trophies. Is that going to happen realistically at your club right now? No, it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So, yeah, I wouldn't. For me personally, I wouldn't count your chickens on just saying we're Man United. We can get whoever we want, which effectively is what it feels like. He mentions about the Europa League, having a massive impact on the budget as well. And I know people, especially lads on the channel as well, have all said that they probably would prefer not to be in the Europa League if they're being completely honest. But again, financially, it's massive. Even for a club like United, it's massive. And you look at this kind of salary cap that's coming in now, which, as far as I understand, I'm not a financial guru, whatever the fuck you want to call it, but as far as I understand, so United, for example, they would bring into account like what they make off like the mega store and all these kind of things as their revenue. And I think you could use 70% of it or something. Again, don't quote me on this, but I was listening to Simon Jordan and someone else talk about it. Kieran Maguire was actually, we've had on this channel before, and they was talking about, you won't be able to do that anymore. It's what you generate, as a club, rather than you kind of merchandise and these kind of things and match day tickets. I think it is. Again, someone correct me if I'm wrong, but they are bringing in a salary cap, which will probably affect United more than most clubs, because obviously the kind of money we make from like your marketing and merch and all that kind of stuff, we're probably one of the biggest. But obviously, in terms of our performance in the league, doesn't kind of resemble that. So I think United will be hit the most by that, as far as I'm aware. But again, if anyone has any kind of further detail on that and wants to correct me, please do. I literally listened to a 20-minute clip on it, tried to understand it. And when you get into the deep financial figures of salary caps and the Premier League and what they want to do and what teams will be affected by it and how it works down the pyramid, it gets really complicated. So I understand it in kind of a layman's terms, and that's as far as I got with it, to be honest with you. So yeah, again, this summer's really interesting in it, lads, because I have no idea who's going to go, stay, what manager's going to leave or stay. You know, it's going to be some huge changes this summer. And yeah, we're not too far off it, are we? We've got obviously Crystal Palace on Monday night. Then we have Arsenal at home, I think. Newcastle away, is it? Or Newcastle at home, is it? Let me get them up. Let me get these fixtures up. I don't just want to guesstimate it. So, Man United, I feel like Newcastle's at home, like one of the last home games. And then we've got Brighton away, which, if everyone remembers, Brighton away under Ollie, was it? Or Ragnick, where we got beat 4-0. And it was just like one of the worst ends to the season. So, yeah, we've got Palace away, Arsenal at home, Newcastle at home, Brighton away, and then Man City in the FA Cup. So that's, to be fair, they're quite close within each other. The 12th of... Whoa, what? Oh, yeah, shit, yeah. Monday the 6th of May. I was looking at it, so I was like, we've got Arsenal next. What the fuck? Monday the 6th of May, we play Crystal Palace on Monday Night Football. Sunday the 12th, we've got Arsenal at home. Wednesday the 15th, we've got Newcastle at home. And then we've got Brighton away on the 19th of May, on the last day of the Premier League. And then the 25th, 6 days later, we play Man City in the FA Cup final. So not long to go. The season's nearly gone, nearly here. Joe Glass, no more points this season then. It certainly seems like that, doesn't it? You know, you're looking at that run-in, especially before the Burnley game, and you're saying to yourself, Burnley's the easiest fixture out of the lot of them, and we drew that game. You know, so is there any United fan in the chat right now who really thinks we're going to win any of them games? Maybe the Brighton one. Maybe, but we don't have a great record away there. I think Arsenal are going to cook us. I think Newcastle will beat us. And I think Palace, that's the one I'm worried about the most. I know that sounds weird, because I think the Arsenal game in itself, like what's at stake, the pressure, we can turn up when we want to. We proved that against Liverpool in the FA Cup. It was a bit scattered and chaotic, but we did win and we knocked them out. I'm looking at the Palace game, and they can just expose us so much. What they're doing under their new coach at the minute, I think obviously he's in his honeymoon period, so you don't want to be too, too praiseworthy of what he's doing, because it's not. You have to wait until he has a summer underneath him, see who he brings in, have a proper pre-season, and then see how he kicks on from there. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be too praiseworthy of him, but from what I see, how he's got certain players playing. I mean, Mateta's been nominated for a Player of the Month. Eze and Elise, I think that helps a lot when you have them two available, because they're the two best players by far, and they're going to cause problems. So I'm just telling you now, I'm going to save the majority of my thoughts for the preview when we do it on Friday, but when we play Palace on Monday night, at their ground, they're going to cook us. They are going to cook, I'm telling you. I'm dreading that game. And that's me, a United fan saying I'm dreading Crystal Palace. How the mighty have fallen in it. It's crazy. Am I being too negative with that? I don't know. Am I being a bit too negative? I'm not entirely sure, but that's just how I feel then into it. You know, you can't watch the games like the majority of the teams near the bottom of the table have give us a good game or beat us. So the form that Palace are in at the minute, which is like in form-wise, they are near the top of the table, I believe. Let's have a look at Palace's fixtures actually. Since the manager's come in, I mean, they've been phenomenal. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not far behind us in the fucking table. I know they beat some big boys as well. Let's have a look, shall we? Where are we at? So they beat Newcastle 2-0, kept a clean sheet against them. They smashed West Ham 5-2. They beat Liverpool 1-0. They give City a relatively good game. And drew to Fulham 1-1 in the most recent games. Now, obviously, there's ones before that. Lost to Bournemouth, drew to Forest. A couple of sketchy ones there. But recently, they've been flying, haven't they? and you look at the team, Mateo, Eze, AU, Elise when he is available, and the rest of the team's pretty fucking average. I mean, Nathaniel Klein, Richards, Hughes, Wharton, who actually had a good game, to be fair. Mitchell, Munoz, like, they haven't got a fucking star-studded team out there, but they're just coached really, really well. And I'm interested to see how the manager does going into next season. Yeah, I don't know if there's any more quotes, actually, coming out from the press conference. Do we have any more? And it's also very quiet in the chat. Talk to me, people. What are we saying? I plugged this before, so again, I'm going to peck people's head. We have got James on from the Muppeteers tonight at 7 o'clock. Do not miss that, because when it comes to Ineos, transfers, everything that's going on around Manchester United, he is top tier. So do not miss that. If you're in the TikTok, 7 o'clock, the link is in the description, Real Reds Talk. Hop over, hit that subscribe button and smash a like in the video for us as well if you can. We're on 4,871 subs at the minute. We're trying to hit 5k. So if there's any legends in the chat right now who isn't subscribed to our channel, please do hit that button. We are 29 off 4,900. So if you can do that, you'd be absolutely amazing and you'd be legends. And I'll give you a big, huge, wonderful shout out as well. Do we have anything else that I need to touch on? Because I flew through them quotes relatively quickly, to be fair. But just for a recap for you guys who are joining as well on the injury front, Bruno Fernandes is a doubt. You can see that on the news ticker in front of you on YouTube. He's a doubt for Monday night. We'll see what happens with him. Rashford won't be playing because he's still injured from the Coventry game, I believe it is. McTominay's on grass, but he's not sure if he can play a full 90 minutes or just be a bit part for the team. Johnny Evans and Martial have been training, but again, don't know if they're going to be available or a bit part for the team. It's basically going to be 45 minutes of a United team where it's just thrown together, and then the second half, they'll bring on the troops and try fucking salvage or scrape a point from Palace. That's what it feels like going into it anyway. I put a poll up, didn't I, at the start of the show? What did we say? Let's have a look. So I put a poll up. Who should start instead of Bruno Fernandes? 73% have gone with Mount, 0 for Ericsson, 18% for Ahmad, and 9% for other. So for the 9% who have put other, who is that player that you would put there instead? If you are still in the chat, put it in the comments. I'm interested to see. Yeah. Make it 8 o'clock and I'm there. Unfortunately, because James is in America, the time zones are a bit thingy. So, I think he just finishes work after that. So it has to be 7 o'clock, unfortunately. But you can always watch it later on and after, you know what I mean? What was I looking at then? What was I looking at? I've just seen a comment and it's gone. Oh, hopefully we see Mount get a start. Yeah, you'd like to think so, but I'm very skeptical with those kind of things because I can't remember the last start Mason Mount got. Who did he last start against? Let's have a look. I want to say Luton because I was at that game, but again, I don't even know if he started that one. Let's have a look. Come a little closer, baby. 12 minutes played. So we had 12 minutes played against Bournemouth. 14 minutes against Liverpool. 17 minutes against Chelsea. 10 minutes against Brentford. 15 minutes against Liverpool in the FA Cup. Luton. 50 minutes against Luton. Didn't even start against Luton. Copenhagen, he played 12 minutes. Okay, now when was the last game he started? Fulham, 11 minutes. Jesus Christ, man. Surely it's not this far back, is it? Surely. 90 minutes against Newcastle when we got beat 3-0 in the EFL Cup. That was the 1st of November. That's the last game Mason Mount started. Wow, that is crazy. What the fuck? What? Newcastle in the EFL Cup, the 1st of November was the last time Mount started. That is fucking crazy. Are they back all? I'm guessing you mean are they all back? No. No, they're not. Bruno, doubt. Mount, don't know if he can play a full 90 minutes. Rashford's not available. McTominay probably can't play a full 90 minutes. Martial and Evans probably can't play a full 90 minutes. Yeah. It's Puzzle FC, man. This is what we used to. This is what United do. This is what we do. This is what he does. Ah, that's a crazy start on Mason Mount, though, isn't it? But yeah, I hope he could start. People know on this channel I'm a fan of him. I think he deserves more game time. I like what I see in small clips, but we haven't seen it on a consistent basis yet. I think him with a run of games, give him 10 games in a row starting, I think he'd be a very important player. You listen to how people talk about him in training, how quick thinking he is, everything about him. Yeah. Just a quick one as well. Andre Onana's save versus Burnley has been nominated for April Premier League Save of the Month, which is interesting. It was a very good save. I wonder what his punch is going to do, because that was a blunder of the month, wasn't it? That's got to be in contention. If Bruno is injured and Ahmad should start giving a chance at number 10, I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. A couple of people in the chat as well have put that, saying Ahmad's second in the votes, 21%, Mount 71%. No one said Eriksen, and 7% have said other as well. So, yeah, I am going to leave it at that. Don't forget, turn on your notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live tonight at 7 o'clock. We've got so much things to discuss about Ineos, the new structure, what kind of targets we're going for, like legitimate news. So, yeah, make sure you come and join us. Rashford isn't available, Jala. Just a quick one there. Aaron saying, we've got a chance of winning the season, save of the month. Oh my God. And even that's a tough competition. But yeah, for people in the TikTok, make sure you come and join us later on 7 o'clock live on YouTube. Click the link in the description. Real Reds Talk. Help us hit 5k. And I'll chat to you guys later on. Thank you for tuning in to Erik Ten Hag's